Tuladar asked earlier, I'm curious, having worked on Pop, what aspects of that EQ expansion do you think left a lasting memory you used in future games? We tried a bunch of new stuff in that one. So in terms of like features and things of that nature, there was a lot of stuff that wound up becoming kind of standard after Pop that we learned a fair bit about. Between that and Lost Dungeons, I think that did a lot of like shaping of my views on features and stuff. But I also learned a lesson that sometimes you can add features to solve certain problems and create entirely new ones. So that shaped me. I would say the main thing that stuck with me personally, Planes of Power, is why I eventually became a producer. Just because so much of that project, it was such a big expansion for such a new team. Basically, we had a lot of new people on the team. Most of us were new. Learned a lot about sort of my first little bits of learning about project management and how to work with teams and how teams operate and some of the problems that arise and some of the ways that you can work through all of that. A lot of that was learned there. We had a producer that was not from Everquest and he didn't honestly give much of a shit about Everquest in terms of like beforehand. He wasn't EQ producer. He was in charge of our casual games department, which we just like got rid of. Casual games were back when we had the license for like Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune and other stuff at Sony. And so his whole thing was like he wanted to actually have the project run more smoothly because the project before that was Shadows of Luckland, which was also known by some people internally as Clusters of Fuckland. And so it was not very well organized or run, but with new leadership, we were actually able to do a pretty crazy expansion in a relatively short amount of time and have it be successful. Learned a lot. Even learned things like we were trying to figure some stuff out early on, and Fister, who was that was the name of the producer. He was like, well, you idiots need to go in a room and come back with a schedule. And we're like, we can't give you a schedule because we haven't made all these decisions yet. And so he was like, give me a schedule of a schedule. And we're like, what the hell does that mean, a schedule of a schedule? And basically what he wanted was, he just wanted us to go in and, to the best of our ability, come up with a timeline of not even a timeline, an outline of how we were going to approach gathering the information we needed in order to be able to answer his questions, and then iterate on that as we went. So yeah, there's a lot of really great learnings during that period. It was a rough one to get done, but we were all so excited to be working on it that we didn't care.